What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Words from the Nerds
Don't don't
podcast.
don't
I'm not gonna
trust this
say.
facade here. Don't trust this facade here, folks. All right, this man was just bullying us before we started recording. All right,
Oh, I'm being attacked for no reason.
I'm breaking my
Chad,
silence.
Chad. That's crazy. You guys know me. I would never say or do anything like
He's the
that.
Diddy of the Marvel podcasting world. I said it. I said
There's
it.
No way.
um, I'm never gonna say the stupid stuff that these two say when they start the episodes, but it's a wonderful night. We're here recording a little early this week, and I'm happy to do it while things are fresh in the membrane. But knowing our luck, I'm sure over the next day and a half, there's going to be some crazy news that comes
Daredevil
out.
trailer. Watch Daredevil
Or
trailer.
yeah,
Watch.
I could see that.
Superman trailer.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah,
Watch.
because the James Gunn thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's yep. Possibly. Oh, also, we didn't. I don't think this was added. I don't know if we want to talk about it. I know I'm jumping a little bit far ahead, but there was like a little snippet of like Peacemaker stuff for season 2 that I think
saw it
aired
was like
before
5 seconds.
the Penguin thing. Yeah, it was real short. It was
Yeah.
really short. It was just like a couple of clips, so we probably don't need to, but just knowing that it's out there. But anyway. This is a wonderful podcast where we talk about lovely, lovely nerdy things, everything that we can think of, even some non-nerdy things. We made an episode about Trap. Yeah, Trap, if you believe
Movie
that.
of the year.
But a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the episode and talking about how these two gentlemen are doing on this fine evening. Be sure to remember that you can leave us a comment or some fan mail in the Spotify comments. You can let us know what you think about us. Let us know about what you think about our thoughts. Also, just leave a good old-fashioned YouTube comment. We love those as well, and we would love to read them. We'd love to read your name off and read what you said about us, because I'm sure you have such wonderfully nice things to say. Because I got nice things to say about you, even though I don't know you. But we are happy to be here. At least I'm going to speak for them for a second. I think we're happy to be here on an earlier day of the week. Benjamin was jumping over the moon. You should have seen him in the group chat. It's crazy. But speaking of Benjamin, how we doing tonight, man? How we doing tonight? Now that we're recording a little early, huh?
I'm doing good. All I said was it was ideal. Like I sent one text, you know?
It's actually really ideal for me.
Yeah, I mean it is. But no, I'm doing well. I feel like these weeks are going by really fast. Like it feels like we just started both of these shows and now we're finishing them. And I'm already like looking ahead at some of the awesome stuff that we have coming next. We've got I don't know if we're planning on talking about the upcoming Dune show that comes out, like literally, I think by the end of this month.
Brendan asked if we were going to cover it. He was like, because I know that y'all like absolutely love Dune, and he asked if we were going to cover it, and I was like, dude, I'm down for it. I'm more than down for it. So yeah.
I will just say that I saw an early review today, and apparently it's pretty rough. So you know, we'll talk about it and we'll see. But other cool things that I didn't know were coming by the end of this year, like Creature Commandos, and you know, we got lots of fun stuff coming up. But yeah, time's going by fast, and that's a good thing because we're getting closer to 2025, which I think we're all looking forward to. Like just tons of shows and movies that we're very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, one of the highlights of the week was going to watch Red One.
Oh, this man.
I'm kidding. I mean, I did go see the movie, but
No, this man went to an early release, man.
Yeah,
he went to an
he
early release of Red
wanted to
One.
flex real quick.
Watching it is one thing. Going to an early release is another.
well, yeah, that's one of the main reasons I went. But no, the highlight of the week was definitely watching Penguin, which I'm not going to jump ahead too much on it, but I will just say it felt like I sat down and watched a movie, watching the Penguin finale. So
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
big
I thought you were saying
highlight.
you felt like you watched a movie with Red One.
No, Penguin finale felt like a movie. So that best movie I watched this last week. I'll just say that much. But yeah, I'm doing well. Can't complain.
And our other glorious co-host, Aiden H Talks, our resident anime weeb. How you doing tonight, pal?
I'm doing wonderful. If you want to see any of my One Piece reactions, Aiden H Talks on Twitter, on TikTok. Um, I'm doing great. I will say one comment we got, which I'm very upset about this because I forgot to bring it up last week when we talked about what we had watched. Um, Brandon said, "I'm so thankful that you have a chance to chill out One Piece, but you forgot to talk about the remarkable life of Evelyn, and how dare you." Now, this is literally one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Literally, me and Brandon were sitting there sobbing the whole time, and I think it's a really cool and fascinating one to check out if y'all want to. It's on Netflix. It's an hour 45. It's about this kid who passed away at like 25 from Duchenne, a muscle disease. But he was like he lived on World of Warcraft. Like that's all he would do because he was just stuck to his chair. And whenever he passed away, it turned out that he had a huge log of like literally everything in World of Warcraft that he said, what he felt, like what his friends were saying, like just a huge archive. Like I think they said it was like 40,000 pages long. So what they did is they grabbed that archive and they animated it in World of Warcraft style. So the first part is like talking about him and his I guess it's a disease, and then the second part is the World of Warcraft like animated him talking to his friends, and then cut in with like some of the people that he affected talking about him. It is one of the saddest but like most hopeful thing like pieces of media I've ever seen. Like by the end of it, you're so sad and like you're just like crying, but you're like, damn man, like there's some good in the world, and like I just feel happy and like hopeful and like just happy that this kid got to live his life in another, because he was just role playing. He played a private detective in the game, or a private investigator. I don't know what I just said. A private investigator in the game, and he got to meet a lot of people and help a lot of people with like their struggles and stuff. And nobody knew that he was literally just bound to the chair. Couldn't talk. Couldn't. He had to like have 11 people working around him daily, and so it's a very inspiring documentary. If you want a good cry, if you want a good feel good movie, it's on Netflix. I definitely recommend checking it out. We rewatched it again last Friday, just cried some more. It's such a good documentary. The Remarkable Life of Evelyn, Ibelin. So if y'all want to check that out, come back next week. We can talk about it, discuss y'all's thoughts. But thought that was a fantastic movie that I completely forgot to talk about last week, and so I've been itching all week to bring that up and discuss it now. But doing wonderful. Speaking of peak media, got some stuff to talk about today, and so I'm ready to get into it.
That's fantastic, brother. I had not heard about that, so I might check that out. But I'm not really good on listening to your recommendations, and I plan to stay that way. But for the news today,
This guy, hey,
just to start
check
us
this
off,
guy out. You know what
just to
that
start us off.
gets you? No.
There we go.
Enough
There we
with
go.
that. Just as you know what
Yeah,
that gets
use
you.
something on the soundboard that I created. Yeah, go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Um, our first piece of wonderful news today. Surprise to me. I don't know if you guys knew that this was going to drop today, like previously before this morning or something. I had no idea, but we got the very first trailer, the teaser trailer for the final Mission Impossible film, titled Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And we already made a joke before we started recording. Benjamin did. The fact that like the naming scheme for the last one really worked out well for him with Dead Reckoning Part 1. And now this one's just The Final Reckoning.
I
So
mean, the same thing happened with Across the Spider-Verse,
sure, but I feel like it got its name. Well, not even. I feel like it got its name changed before it came out. At the very least,
Yeah, they didn't actually title Across the
Part 1.
Spider-Verse Part 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally like my Blu-ray for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning says Part
It's
1
That's
on
part
crazy.
it.
one.
Yeah.
Crazy work.
That's awesome. But yeah, so we're gonna pull it up for a little reaction here, and I have already seen it. Full disclosure, for reasons that I won't put Aiden on blast for, in the actual episode. But these two, I think, are freshly seeing it for the first time right now. So if you're a YouTube watcher, please enjoy. Also, if you're an audio listener, please enjoy to the best of your ability. But obviously, that might be hindered a little bit. You boys both in?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Our lives are not defined by any one action.
I can turn off the captions
There
if
you
you
go.
want.
Lives are the sum of our choices.
Everything you were, everything you've done has come to this.
When the need for certainty is absolute and the odds are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him.
Should he choose to accept? For every life you tried to save, you gambled millions more. And now the fate of every living soul on Earth is your responsibility. That's the pattern, isn't it? You refuse to sacrifice.
That
the
score
ones
is
you hold
crazy.
close.
You've always been on the right side, brother. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
Oh my god.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
What can I say? What can I say? That is a banger of a teaser trailer, if you ask me, man. Like that, I am incredibly looking forward to the final chapter in this franchise. As someone who came in really late, I guess not like super late if you look at like in a year span. I first one I ever watched was Ghost Protocol when I was a lot younger, and so to come to the conclusion of this, and after how good Dead Reckoning Part One was, not as good as some of the others, sure, like Fallout, for example, still very good. So I'm hoping I got high hopes for this one, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, I think I might be even newer to the franchise. I think I had only seen Ghost Protocol, and that was like, I don't know, 2015 or something. And then I saw Fallout in theaters, and I had seen none of the others. And when I saw Fallout in theaters, I was like, this is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. And I only watched all the other ones in preparation for Dead Reckoning last year. So I'm fairly new to at least how many times I've seen the franchise, with Fallout being the standout. I've seen that a few times. But I gotta say, ever since they made a transition, I would say, from like the original trilogy into Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, and Dead Reckoning, that like switch in the middle there, they have just not missed. It is, in my opinion, just exponentially getting better and better. And if not like every project is getting better than the last, they're at least still maintaining a certain level of quality that has not gone away. And there's literally zero doubts in my mind at all that this movie isn't going to be amazing. It's just how amazing it ends up being. It's like, does it fall in the ranks of being another perfect action movie like Fallout, or is it just an amazing Mission Impossible movie like Rogue Nation? That's the only question. Is like, how good will it be?
Yeah, I'm even newer to this franchise, just having watched all the ones last year in preparation for Dead Reckoning Part 1. I mean, man, it just feels so triumphant, and that score, like it feels like a final Mission Impossible movie, and that's all I could ask for. Is just make it grand, go crazy, go out, and I'm sure Tom Cruise has some crazy stuff planned for us, and I think it looks great. I think it's a really good trailer. That score was blasting through my headphones, man. That was wonderful.
I turned the stream volume up while we were watching it.
It's so
But
good.
yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I probably like the trailer for Dead Reckoning a little bit more,
Yeah.
because it had the score build up and then cut off the moment that they're teasing the cliff jump stunt, and that was just really good. Like anytime I saw it in theaters, just chills, just with how they set that up. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much that could be said about this franchise. It's arguably the best action franchise that's still running to this day. I mean, I think most people would actually agree with that.
Yeah.
Some might have like personal preference to something like John Wick or something like that, but
I'm surprised you don't have that personal preference.
I've gone back and forth. I think it's because I haven't had as much time with Mission Impossible. I've only seen most of them one time through, and I've seen the Wick franchise many times. And I would say as a whole, like, the 4 John Wick movies are more consistent than the 7 Mission Impossible movies. But if you cut out the original 3 Mission Impossible and you're just looking at Ghost Protocol onward, then I think there's definitely an argument that those rival the 4 John Wick movies.
Respectable. Okay.
Thank you, Charles.
Super looking forward to. Oh, that made me want to just tear into anything he just said. But super looking forward to it. Obviously, do we have I'm sure there is a date, but I didn't.
May.
I don't think May. Oh wow,
26?
Okay, sooner than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was
Yeah,
gonna be
May
July again.
23rd. May 23rd.
May 23rd.
Super. Okay, talk to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Okay. But that was not the only trailer we received today. Admittedly, before we talk about this one, it 1000% will probably be the better trailer that we got today. But we also got the first trailer for What If Marvel Animations, What If Season 3. What do you want? What do you want to say?
Sorry, Charlie. Sorry. I was just gonna say I actually didn't watch. I'm so pissed, man. I wanted to watch the Thunderbolts trailer and react to it, and I actually would have made a trailer reaction to that one for your information. But then Ben was like, "Guys, y'all gotta watch it. Y'all gotta watch it."
Go watch it
So
now.
I was like, "All right,
Go watch it
cool."
now.
And I went and watched it, and I was like, "God, I wish I would have got a trailer reaction." But the one I didn't watch was Captain America: Brave New World, the new one.
We should watch that.
Okay. Then let's do it. Then let's after What
You
If
want to do
season
that
3.
before?
After.
Oh, okay. After What If? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Dude. Oh,
Okay, I can't wait because I didn't
makes me
watch
happy
it.
we're doing that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I don't want to imply too much on you, but we have the first trailer for Marvel Animations What If Season 3 also dropped today. And we already gave, I think either last week or 2 weeks ago, we gave our sort of minute thoughts on What If as a whole, and then is also going into Season 3. So I don't think we're going to be too long in the cheek or long in the tongue, whatever the expression is, with this one. But interesting. Actually, no, I'll save that for the end. But let me get this up, and we will watch the second best trailer of the day.
Alrighty.
All right. You guys in?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Let's begin. Up for an adventure?
Always.
Commissioner Gordon.
To understand, you must learn to see.
exactly are you proposing?
It's showtime.
Here we go!
Howard, are you sure you can fly this?
Are you kidding? I'm a duck. I was born to fly. Strap in.
Oh, move over.
Ooh.
They all go down. The world will be left defenseless.
Okay.
SMH.
My guy.
Okay. Oh wow.
What? They're all in.
We got Moon Knight, Iron Man.
They're the Power Rangers, bruh.
Avenger, assemble.
Avenger.
Oh hell no, this shit is ass. What the fuck is that? Ah! Come on!
Light him up now.
Okay.
This is where your story ends.
Whoa.
Airship.
Yeah.
With some mysteries, the only answer is what if?
Okay. December 22nd.
Maybe it's time that we called in some help.
Oh hell yeah! Oh my god, she has Mjolnir! What are we doing? Holy
Yeah, all right,
shit!
She looks sick.
Holy shit! She has Mjolnir, bro. What are we doing?
So right off the bat, okay, first I'll talk about what I wanted to talk about at the end. Interestingly, it doesn't say, because last year with season 2, they dropped an episode every day up until when it was done, I guess. And they didn't say that in this trailer, but last year they did say that in the trailer. And so I was worried that that wasn't going to be the case. But I look in the description here, and it does say unwrap a new episode daily for 8 days. Cool. So that is good to hear. I still think that that's probably the best release form for a show like this. But then to go into my thoughts, it's a mixed bag for me because part of me, as I mentioned before, last time we talked about it, the things that they make these concepts on, these what if concepts, really they aren't really reaching far into the bag for these, and that's the most disappointing part of it. And it seems to be that they're going to be continuing with that sort of idea, at least in some cases, with just the choices of characters. Yeah. I think that's evident. Like we're watching Howard the Duck and the girl from WandaVision and the Thor movies interact with each other. Like, I'm not here for this. You're in an animated format where you can do so much more with the medium you're in now, without spending nearly as much. And we're watching two characters that hardly in the MCU whatsoever interact. That's what we're using it for. Like, sure, you can call me a party pooper, I guess, or whatever, but then at the same time in this trailer, we're watching Moon Knight in a giant mech suit, Sam Wilson, Captain America in a giant mech suit, Captain Marvel in a giant mech suit, or what's her name? Phasma or something? Photon, that's her name. Photon in a giant mech suit, all like coming together. Like, then that seems like a somewhat cool concept. So I think it's a mixed bag of that sort of the concepts that I don't care for and that I think can also be really cool at the same time. So probably for me, it'll if I had to make a guess right now, it'll land around the same way I felt about season 2, which I know you buccos didn't watch season 2, and you probably won't watch season 3 if I'm honest, but we'll see. I want to hear. No, hold on, everybody, shut up. I want to hear from Aiden first.
All right. No, I think
shut up. I want to hear from Ben first.
Shut up, man. We're gonna make a thumbnail, man. All right. I'm gonna use that every single time. Yeah, no, I definitely agree, Charlie. There's just so much you could do which is such a mixed bag because then we have Storm wielding Mjolnir, and so it's like, should we be complaining? But then of course we see Howard the Duck and the other girl from WandaVision flying a spaceship with typical MCU
Darcy,
humor.
sorry.
Darcy.
That's her name.
Typical MCU humor, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like I don't really care, and especially like I think was that Riri Williams in there flying in a little white Iron Man suit. At least that's what who it looked like. And it's like we are getting characters that have some that probably haven't well, was the Blade Moon Knight thing a what if, or was that zombies? I think that was what
Wait,
if.
sorry. Say that again. Sorry.
Blade as Moon Knight.
I think that
was
was the
zombies.
zombies. Yeah, I
You
think
think that was the zombies?
Yeah.
Regardless, well, I mean that doesn't really help my point, but I'll say it anyways. We're getting characters who have had one movie or no movie at all in live action, getting stories in what if before X-Men or Fantastic Four characters, or just like a true what if, like even just throw it back to like the OG Avengers fighting Loki in the first Avengers movie. What if, do a what if with that? We're just, I don't know. They're not, like Charlie said, they're not reaching deep enough in their bag for a what if animated Marvel series. And so it's hard to really buy in, which is why I didn't really bother to watch the second season. And obviously now I will, because I assume we'll talk about season 3 here in the next month. But if we weren't doing the pod, I don't know if I'd be as gravitated towards doing it, because it's just too safe for me. It's just too safe for me. Which is why I love something like Star Wars Visions, which admittedly I haven't seen season 2, but at least season 1 they just like, cool, we're just gonna have 8 different animators come in, make their own little Star Wars story in the universe, just their own characters, whatever, and just let them do whatever they want with it. And it's like, man, I wish we could take some of those concepts and apply them here. But then, like I said, we get Storm wielding Mjolnir, and we do get an X-Men character in there that we haven't seen yet in the MCU. So, there's some give and take. I guess it's more so just what your flavor is. So, yeah, I thought it was cool. I could buy in. I'm able to buy in, and so pretty cool trailer. Also, that mech suit with all the Avengers teaming up, that Power Ranger, that shit was so ass, bro. What, like, you're kidding me if you said that shit was hard. That was pure dog. Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm watching, like, am I 5 years old, dude? Am I 5 years old? I don't know. Take it away, Ben.
Hey, bro. Grown ass people like Power Rangers, right? Not me. I'm not saying me. I never liked Power Rangers.
Not me,
Truthfully, when I was a
guys.
kid.
Not me.
To each their own. I say that as I have anime characters plastered all over the.
So my thoughts.
No, we're moving on to the next thing. Sorry, Benjamin. Sorry,
So my
man.
thoughts on the trailer. I know we talked about this kind of recently, but I haven't seen season 2. I'm going to watch it before we get season 3. And I've always just been mixed on the series in general. I know that they're advertising this as the final season, which we talked about how that's just a kind of silly thing to do with what if as a concept, because especially at least from season 1 and how the final couple of episodes kind of tied things together with their overall story that they were telling, I don't really like the overall story, that surrounds, I guess, mainly like the Watcher. I don't love that as something like, oh, this could end at some point with, the Watcher going away or dying or whatever ends up happening. I don't really like that idea. I just think they should have fully embraced the what if side of things and just like, we don't need a story. We don't need to connect all these things together. Let's just keep pumping out really cool concepts, and we can do that for as many seasons as we want. Instead, they're putting a hard cap on it, and I don't think it'll do them much good. And it does look like it could be a mixed bag of concepts and episodes. I think the biggest thing that I really hope that they do is, what if the other half got blipped? If they don't do that, they fumbled. Like,
I think you're dreaming. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if that was going to happen, sorry to interrupt you, but I think if that was going to happen, that would have happened early on.
I would actually disagree with that, because I would say that since we've gotten 2 seasons, there's a large group of people who've been vocal about really wanting it. So it's actually more likely that it got passed up and that maybe they would have considered it as time went on. I don't know. You also have to call into question, like, if they are going to try and tie all of this together, then is that even a story that they can realistically tell? But I mean, that's the problem with confining yourself to a story, is that you actually limit some of the creative things that you're able to do with the concept. But I don't know. The trailer looks fine. It looks like kind of what you would expect. So I'm kind of I'm neutral on it. It doesn't really push me in a good or a bad way. I'll watch it and we'll see what happens.
Something I was actually just thinking about, and I know you guys haven't seen this, at least I don't think you have, but after season 1 of The Boys, or maybe it was after season 2, Amazon came out with an animated show. I forget what I think it's
Diabolical?
Yes, thank you. It's called Diabolical. And it's a true anthology show. There's no overarching story like What If does every time. Every episode is different, and I think that they did whether each episode was really good or not, like that's up to your personal opinion, but they did a really good job of making each episode its own confined thing. And then even the last episode was a direct tie into what we've seen from the Boys universe thus far. And I think that that's a really good way of going about it. And obviously, I think it's too little too late for that. And they're definitely not taking that approach here. There's no way they are. Just with without spoiling season 2 for you guys, just with the fact that both times it has led up to an overarching story. Whether that be some episodes, I think the way they operate is like 1 or 2, maybe 3 of the episodes of the season are truly like just singularly by themselves, but then eventually some point of each episode builds up to the finale of the season, and then you see multiple characters that you've seen before come back. But something like The Boys Diabolical, man, I praise that show so much. There's a couple really cool and interesting and heart touching episodes in there. So
Heart touching, like good, because heart tearing would be bad, I think.
It's like bittersweet, I guess I could say.
Okay.
Bittersweet, yeah. One of the episodes. The rest is like crazy. The Boys kind of craziness, just like in animated form. But there's some heartfelt ones in there. But yeah, any more thoughts on What If season 3?
All good.
No. Okay. Well, Aiden. Oh man. Oh, man,
I heard this trailer was good. I heard it was good.
I'm so happy for you, man. I'm so happy for you right now. For those who maybe weren't paying attention or maybe you skipped to this part of the podcast, we're about to watch the new trailer. This didn't come out today, but the new trailer for Captain America: Brave New World dropped, I believe, not yesterday, a couple days ago. And Aiden has yet to see it. So this is going to be his first watch through. Ben and I both have, and we are excited to rewatch it, I'm sure. But
hey, you know me, I'm a reactive person, so you give me some Peak to watch, I'll deliver.
Oof. Okay, man. All right. You guys in?
Yeah.
Okay.
You asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Oh, shit.
The President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
Oh my God, Hydra.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
Yo, this editing is crazy.
General. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
I love that line, dude. It's so underrated. Oh shit.
Wait for it. We're on the brink of war. I can't trust anyone. Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself
Oh.
who's playing who?
Oh my God, I missed this. I missed this in the MCU, dude. I missed this shit.
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
Seth Rollins.
Under arrest?
I don't want a people out there that I can't control.
I can't control is crazy.
Whip out his wing.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap?
You don't even know what this is.
Oh my.
Since when were they red?
I saw that dumbass clip. Okay.
You want me? Come and get me!
Oh my God. Look at him, man. Come on. Look at him. Holy shit. That's Captain fucking America right there.
Can I just say before Aiden says anything, Charlie, this is the closest you are ever gonna get to a sequel to Eternals.
Hey man, I'm gonna revel in it. Okay, I'm gonna revel in people finally shutting up about the damn hand in the middle of the ocean. Okay,
You're gonna see the hand go,
Slash
no
hand.
way, Eternals. Everyone's gonna say who?
Kevin, I think at Disney at D23 Brazil, somebody asked about the Eternals, and he said, and it like I feel like I don't know how to take this, but he said we'd be lucky to get them back. Like, like is he saying like, ah man, like that's not gonna happen. We'd be lucky to get them back, like, or like we really want to do it. We'd be lucky to get them back. You know, like we'd be really fortunate. I don't know, bro. It's whatever, I guess. But it's just like so many like think about all the things that were like tied to that, man. I don't know. Whatever. We're here to talk about the trailer. Fantastic trailer, bro. Holy shit.
Dude, that shit was fire. I absolutely hate. Oh, they're red now. Oh my God! Like, shut up, dude. Quit this.
Somebody made a good point on Twitter about that. I think actually, like, and I'm one to criticize MCU humor a lot of the time, but like, you just witnessed the president of the United States turn into a gigantic fiery red monster in front of your, like 20 feet away from you, and your first instinct is like, I didn't know they were red. Like, come on, bro.
You know
what
what?
are we doing?
You know what always makes me cringe is that when we're in the theater watching it for the first time, there's gonna be people that laugh. Like they're gonna laugh.
I made a TikTok about that. I could like jokes that they use in trailers multiple times, and then opening night. So you know these people most likely watch the trailer unless they were just totally blackout. But there's a very small minority of people that do that. Opening night, people laugh as loud as they can for those jokes that they've seen in the trailer. Like, what are you doing? Don't like. Oh my, whatever. Sorry, that's yucking people's yum. I'm sorry, but it's crazy, dude.
The one that was the worst was Doctor Strange when he said, "Oh my
Scooby
God,
doo this shit."
Yeah, and people laughed. Like a lot of people laughed in the theater, and I was just like, "Oh, it's gross." Yeah, dude, oh my God, that was fantastic. I hate that a lot of negative stuff has been coming out about this movie. Like, early reviews have been almost all like mixed or negative. Because it looks so freaking good, dude. Like it looks phenomenal. Like This is the stuff I miss. I miss seeing Iron Man fly through the air, chasing down jets and missiles getting shot. Like, I miss that, dude. I miss the simplicity of that. And we're getting that with this movie, and the whole sleeper agent stuff of it, and corrupt government officials. I mean, that is a crazy fucking line to say. I don't want a variable I can't control. Oh my god, like you're talking about a black man, bro. Like, do you not get the double? Oh my god, it's crazy. It's phenomenal. I can't freaking wait. That was a fantastic trailer. Holy shit, yeah. I mean, that was awesome. That scene of his wings cutting the car there at the end.
Bro, I loved watching the shield throwing it midair and it bouncing off the rockets that are flying towards him. That was insane, dude. Oh my god. I can't speak highly enough about this. Obviously, I'm super looking forward to this, coming hot off the heels for me of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show. Some of the writers are still from that are attached to this, so that makes me excited to some degree. I hope that they can step up their ability when it comes to writing villains, obviously. But I think as far as character goes, like I think they're gonna nail it with this, and so I'm super excited to see what happens to this. But obviously, to the elephant in the room, what you mentioned, Aiden, the early reactions that or the test screenings for this have not been great so far from what we've heard. So I guess we'll see. It does seem like they're stuffing a lot, and obviously this is the. You still haven't seen The Boys season 4 yet, but this is that joke of like how many reshoots this film.
They're
had.
still doing some shoots today.
Yeah.
There was some some set pictures today. Yeah.
The budget for this movie got to be crazy. But
That's wild.
Benji.
Moment that I love in the trailer is the Sonic Boom moment when he flies down and says, "Wait a minute."
Wait for it. Yeah.
Yeah, wait for it. Cuz I like when you actually experience that in real life, like if somebody is shooting a gun or whatnot, and the way that just sound travels and whatnot, like that's such a cool concept to mess with. And we always think of like when we think of superhero landing, like we think of the impact right on impact. So to like give a superhero landing and then have that little extra it's so cool. I'm a big fan of the trailer, and I will say like we're not watching the Thunderbolts trailer here, but there was also a new Thunderbolts trailer, and I like both of the trailers, but I would say this one gives me a lot more excitement for Brave New World that I didn't have before. Because with both Thunderbolts and Brave New World, I was kind of on the fence because there's a lot of questions with it, and I still think that's the case here. I mean, the early reactions haven't been great. They're still doing reshoots, and yeah, one of the things that I noticed about the trailer is it looks like they're trying to tackle a pretty huge story that just incorporates a ton of different things. But man, if the trailer is this good and the movie ends up being bad, that would be like, just based on the trailer, this should be amazing. I love the trailer. So it would be so sad if the early reactions end up holding true. So as somebody who's been like, kind of on the fence. I wasn't as big a fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier as Charlie was, but I feel like I was always just like open-minded about some of the projects coming out next year. This pushed me into like, I'm genuinely excited for February to come around because it's not that far away. So I'm genuinely excited to watch this movie and just really hope it's not terrible.
Dude, and the fact that like both of the trailers so far have been fantastic. Like we raved about the first trailer too, and like this one I think is better than that. And like it's oh my gosh, man. I like if I didn't know about the test screenings, like I would say in no world can this actually like should this be bad? Like from what we're seeing, like I don't know, whatever. to move on to our next bit of news.
Well, I was gonna ask, do y'all want to just jump into Penguin, or do y'all not really care?
Well, let's.
There's two little things. They don't take long.
All right.
Yeah, they're just kind of. Yeah. D23 in Brazil just happened over the past couple days, and some news came out of that in terms of MCU stuff. A lot of news came out of it, like a lot of Pixar stuff too. But we're gonna skip over that stuff. Kevin Feige was there, and he said a couple of things about X-Men, Miles Morales, and the Eternals. Firstly, Kevin Feige says that the X-Men will be important to the MCU after the events of Avengers Secret Wars. That is interesting to me. Just because of, I guess this is just, that has not been confirmed in any way, shape, or form. This is just kind of us assuming that the MCU is going to be a soft reboot afterwards. And so I wonder if, like, because they've already started to spread the seeds of the X-Men in the MCU so far with the post-credit scene of the Marvels. And so I guess just still they could be included if that world gets destroyed or whatever. I don't know. It's an exciting concept for me, especially after X-Men 97. I am super high on X-Men right now, and I would love to be even deeper into that universe with some hopefully great actors and not actors that are given the chance to really shine as their characters, because let's be honest, Cyclops Scott Summers was sidelined throughout the entirety of the X-Men films, and that pisses me off to this day. He's my favorite X-Men. So, and he got to shine in X-Men 97. Oh Lord, oh my goodness. But it's neither here nor there. What are you guys' thoughts on the X-Men after Avengers Secret Wars, after the Secret Wars?
My thoughts are pretty simple. I think everybody's excited for the idea of the X-Men coming into the MCU. We all want to see it happen, but the concern that I have is if we're really pivoting after Secret Wars into that, I guess two concerns is, one, we have so many loose ends that have been set up right now with projects that we currently have. I mean, even Agatha All Along just ended on a cliffhanger into a further story with those characters. And you have post-credit scenes and just tons of stuff that's pointing to more stories that should be happening with other characters. And so that it just feels like there's a lot of loose ends. And then the other point that I'd make kind of ties into that, which is like, there are projects where we want to see other characters more that we're not currently getting, that it feels like they would push that to the side to bring in X-Men. So we know a lot of the movies that we're going to be getting in 2025 and 2026 up until Secret Wars. So if they're pivoting to X-Men after that, what's happening with Blade? Which, I mean, there's a lot of questions there, but just to throw that out there, are we getting another Doctor Strange movie? Are we getting another Shang-Chi movie? Like, there's so many things that we already want to happen on top of the fact that they already have loose ends. And so if they pivot to X-Men, like, I think at a base level, sure, it's exciting. But when you take a step back and look at the MCU, why is that being prioritized over things that have already been set up, or projects that we want to see and sequels and whatnot that we kind of expected to come down the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm all for a soft reboot. I think this kind of points a little bit towards that direction. But yeah, I mean, this is a discussion we've had multiple times, and that's a really good point of just Agatha has just led into a new project, and that project we would hope would be Young Avengers, maybe another Wanda show or Wanda movie. But it's like, when does that come? Secret Wars is less than 2 years away. Like, when do you have time to tie all this stuff up? How many more projects will it take? And do you trust that after Secret Wars you can bring the X-Men in and finish all these stories and still tell a cohesive overarching story. So I don't know. I feel like the MCU is just in such a weird place right now that nobody is talking about. Like I feel like we talk about it every other week or so, but I don't see anyone else kind of worrying about these things. And with the whole Spider-Man stuff and the fact that Secret Wars is set in stone for at least now for that early 27 release. Like I don't see that as a good thing. I don't. Like I'm all for it coming out in the next 2 years, and I'm excited to get in there and watch a freaking Secret Wars movie, but what does that look like with the current state that we're in? What do I have to be excited about that with the current state that we're in? And it's really odd and it's really scary, and I feel like that just kind of gets swept under the rug. And especially like his comments about the Eternals just being like, oh, we'll be lucky if we get to see them again, or we'll be lucky if we get them back. What does that look like? What does this you still have to make Shang-Chi too. You still have Blade in limbo right now. Where's Doctor Strange in his third movie, and how does that fit into? It's not coming out before Secret Wars, as far as we know. I mean, it could be one of the 3 movies, but he even said that they want to keep it to 2 or 3, and the only reason why 25 is so big is because all that stuff was ready to go. So let's say 26 is just Doomsday and Spider-Man, and then maybe a TV show or 2, and some animated stuff. Still don't see how Doctor Strange fits in there. Shang-Chi 2, Eternals 2, Black Panther 3, well, whatever you want. I don't know. I fail to see how it all shapes out, unless they just continue to tell these stories with these characters that we already have established, and we don't get a soft reboot. It's more so just like, all right, things are shaking up a bit. This is the new ground. This is the new landscape. And we keep pushing forward. We finish these characters. We finish off all the stories that we've told. We just have a 2 Avenger movie break in between. Either way, it's odd. And either way, it's just, I don't know. It's just hard for me to see how it will work out. And I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah, even with you saying that, like one of the things that comes to mind is like, I feel like we just got the announcement that RDJ was coming to play Doctor Doom with Avengers Doomsday, and the Russo brothers are back. And now they're already talking about the next thing after that. And it's like the possibility that like a couple years from now, Doomsday is going to pass, Secret Wars is going to pass, the hype from RDJ being back is gone, and then we're on to the next thing. Like restart X-Men, do this all over again. It's like, I don't know. It almost, earlier this year I would have said that they were trying to implement changes to save where they were with the Russo brothers and with RDJ. It really felt like they were trying to play their cards right. And now with this, it almost feels like they don't necessarily have full hope in that, so they're telling us what's happening after, so that if we're disappointed, then it's like, oh, but we're soft rebooting and we get X-Men. So all of it just screams like poor planning and grasping at straws, which I know is like, it's way too early to like accurately say that. That's just what my gut is telling me, is that we shouldn't be hearing these things with what we know for the next couple of years.
Holy, bro, you guys are some Debbie Downers, bro. Holy cow, man, that's insane. Listen, I'm excited for the X-Men. Oh my goodness, that's where the conversation ends.
Stupid.
Something else Kevin Feige said at our wonderful D23 in Brazil. Miles Morales will appear in the 3rd Spider-Verse movie. Obviously, we know that. He better, actually. They're his movies. But he hopes that shortly after that, he can enter the MCU in live action, which I think would be huge. for that to happen, but that also goes into everything with you guys just talked about, with wow, we're going to introduce Miles after Spider-Verse comes out. Obviously, he didn't give a timetable for that or anything, but still, like, that could be the same kind of thing. Like, oh, we're going to give you Miles as well. X-Men and Miles? Like, come on now. You've never had Miles before. Like, we come look at this. After Secret Wars wasn't that good, we know, but keep sticking around. Still exciting news. Obviously, I would love to see Miles. Whether he be on his own as Spider-Man, or with Peter. Obviously, I think people would like the dynamic with him and Peter more. But if he like takes the place of Tom Holland's Spider-Man eventually, which I could totally see that being the case, if they spend enough time with him. But yeah, I think obviously live action Miles Morales is an inevitability. At some point, we're getting him. We just don't know when. So.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they'll coexist, him and Tom Holland, whoever it is as Miles, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU? Or do you think that's just I honestly cannot see Tom Holland playing Spider-Man for the next 5 years. Like maybe this next movie and then maybe a couple movies after. I don't really see after that having...
Okay.
I don't know. He's going to be old. He's already getting Christopher Nolan movies. He's on the up and up. I don't know. I could see a possibility where Miles kind of takes that mantle, and we have like, instead of Steve Rogers, Captain America, Hulk, and Spider-Man, we have She-Hulk, Miles Morales, and Sam Wilson's Captain America. And which there's nothing wrong about that, but it's like,
yeah, there is.
But it's like, you know, it's
bro, here's She-Hulk and then it's just bad. Here's She-Hulk and it's bad.
But you know, it's just like I don't know. I don't, and maybe this is just me being a pessimist and just not really thinking that I can live in a world where we get to see a Miles and Peter buddy cop Spider-Man movie. I would love it if we could, but I don't know. I feel like maybe this could be the mantle is being passed and we kind of strain out a couple of these OG MCU heroes, such as like Florence Pugh, Bucky, as I said, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Thor. Like we kind of just sift them out a little bit and then bring the X-Men in, bring a couple of those heroes back, the ones that just are fine still playing these characters, and do something with that. Do something with them. I don't know.
The only thing I would say to that, I guess, is because in that interview that Tom Holland had a couple weeks ago, like he said, like he wants to continue playing Spider-Man for a long time. He did say that himself. But sure, and that could just be like, I don't know, pillow talk.
Pillow talk with Marvel.
Yeah, I think if the sooner they introduce Miles, I think the more it puts a timetable on Tom Holland's time as Spider-Man, and it makes his end much more inevitably close, depending on whenever Miles is introduced. But yeah, Benji,
Don't have much to say. I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, I would still categorize it in that boat of just like, hey, here's a thing to look forward to, but it is something I'm looking forward to, so we'll see.
Okay. And then the third piece is just what Aiden mentioned earlier. I don't think we really need to expand on this, but
yeah, nobody cares.
Kevin Feige also said that, quote, "We'd be lucky to get any of them back when talking about the Eternals." And I really wish there might be a video out there, but I wish I was in the room to like gauge the tone of voice he said this with, and like his demeanor, his body language, to like understand what he means. Like if this is like a hopeful, or like this is like it's not likely to happen. But yeah, it doesn't look like Eternals are coming back, which is like it's fine. I mean, it's not, but it's fine. It's not for the sense that like, dude, they set this other whole story up of Thanos' brother, played by Harry Styles of all people, Thanos' brother, and now we're just not gonna see where that develops. Any sort of like deeper look into. Oh no way!
I think
I'm about to find out right now.
you can continue you can finish your thought and then we can.
Just it seems like, and obviously there's the Blade stuff too, but like I think that can be continued without the Eternals. Like that's not a necessary thing. But everything with Dane Whitman, and like his family and all the mystery that was shrouded with that, and I was intrigued to find out more and how this sword is so important to his family legacy and whatnot. But now we're just seemingly not going to get any of that. So it's kind of a huge bummer to me, but he didn't definitively say no. So,
all right, let's check out the clips. I found the clip of Kevin Feige talking about the Eternals. I believe it's a 2-minute clip, so audio, bear with us. But let's get into it.
The MCU.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, clearly the comics and the Marvel comics and the Marvel animated series before we started working on the first X-Men 25 years ago. But it was also Star Wars for me. Star Wars, Star Trek, the Indiana Jones movies, the Back to the Future trilogies. I was always obsessed with the interconnection between movie series. I never looked down on them. I was never cynical about sequels. I was always very happy about them.
And can you rank your favorite 3 moments of the entire MCU?
My favorite 3 Marvel moments. That's very hard, but the 3 I will list right now: Tony Stark saying "I am Iron Man" at the end.
Oh God, I wasn't expecting that.
Homem de Ferro.
Black Panther being revealed for the very first time on screen.
All right, we don't need to see all this.
Probably
A few updates of some of your projects. Let's start with Blade. So I can expect in the future for Blade, Eternals, and Humans.
Blade, Eternals, and Humans. Blade, we've actively been working, as everybody knows, for many, many years
Cap.
to bring that to the screen.
Cap.
Eternals, very proud of that movie. That cast was incredible. We'd be lucky to get any of them back at some point. And in Humans, we had a cameo of
That's. I mean that sounds pretty. Like, hey, we'd love to have them back at some point.
Jeez.
Yeah, that sounds happy to me. That sounds happy. That doesn't sound like it's never gonna happen.
I would not get your hopes up.
I'm not. I want to clarify. I'm not. Just
he says that, and the crowd goes mild. Like nobody cares.
It's crazy to ask about Inhumans, bro.
I know, that was wild. I was like, what? Inhumans? Like that was a TV show that was ass, brother. Let's move on.
Yeah, if nobody cares about Eternals, and Inhumans is like,
well, is it
another universe?
Is the Black Knight not an Inhuman?
I don't think so.
Who am I thinking of?
He's about to. Actually, he is. While Aiden gets that information up and going, I'm gonna transition us to the meat and potatoes.
Oh, I'm thinking of Black Bolt. I'm tripping. Yeah. All right. Take us away.
Yeah. The meat and potatoes of this episode, the thing that we all came here to, if I were to guess, wonderfully glaze in the best ways possible. The Penguin and its season, potentially series finale. Probably just season though, because it's getting a ton of love. Yeah, I don't want to go first this time.
I want to go first.
Let's let Ben go first then.
Me, please.
Go ahead, man.
Absolutely fucking phenomenal, man. I mean, 10 out of 10 finale for a 9.5 to 10 out of 10 show. I mean, I shouldn't have gone first because Jesus, I'm I'm speechless. I'm speechless just even thinking about the perfection that I watched last night. I think that this show, one of the main things I can praise it for is how much it understands its characters. We talked about the Sophia of it all and the for Charlie, super controversial episode 4, but literally one of the best episodes in this entire show. Even episodes just like that, where Charlie did take a criticism to, which is totally fair. It comes back in such a beautiful way here in the finale, and there's so many moments throughout the show where that flashback episode is so important. Man, keep that yawning to a minimum, all right? Keep that yawning to a minimum all the
Dude,
time.
that was a genuine yawn. That
No,
wasn't fake stuff.
So that flashback in that episode is so important to so many aspects of the show. Not only her rise to crime, but literally everything that happens in the finale for her character. Even moments like Penguin, whenever he was younger, and the stuff that they highlighted with him and his mom's relationship, and him and his brothers, and how he saw his brothers as something that. And I said last week that I didn't think he did what he did on purpose. I think this week it looks like a little bit more of a psychotic moment for him, or a climb, using people as a ladder to climb to the hierarchy in this case Gotham's crime world, and in that case the love and respect of his mother. And
I want to interrupt you here. I said the same thing, and I do want
yeah,
to
yeah,
recant.
yeah. I was listening to it today, and I was like, I think both of us will probably backtrack on that after this episode.
Yeah.
But even things like that, like, you know, you can go into that episode and be like, all right, like, you know, this flashback or this stuff with his mom is just kind of like whatever. But it's so important to his character. And again, things that he does in the finale, it just shows that he looks at family, and I guess not his mom, but again, she is to him, she is the crime world of Gotham. So it wouldn't make sense to look at her as like something that holds him back. He looks at his family as something that makes him weak. And that flashback highlights a huge part of what happens in the finale. And so I just love and appreciate so much how this show just understands its characters, how it is not afraid to take time to sit and flesh them out, no matter how slow it might make the show in some people's eyes. I never thought, I mean, I'm a sucker for slow burn character work. I mean, but to some people could look at those moments and be like, this is just too slow, or this does nothing for the story or for this character. And Charlie, I'm not trying to come at you here. I promise I'm not. But like, you know, this finale just kind of highlights those moments where it's like, no, this did matter, because this moment wouldn't have hit as hard, especially with Sophia's character there, which we'll get into later. But it adds so much to those moments where some shows, these flashbacks would only hurt those moments or would only bring down the show. But to highlight things that have traumatized and have molded the characters of our two main characters, Sophia and Oz, and where it takes them in the final episode. I mean, it is just some of the best character work and some of the best character building I have ever seen. I mean, it was phenomenal. There's a moment where my heart literally dropped, and I can't say that happens a lot. I can't say that a show can instill that in me a lot, to where something happens and I'm like, oh my God, like my heart literally drops. Like I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. And so I can only praise this show for how well how much it took care of their characters. And I mean, the world building again is absolutely phenomenal. Just again highlights all of those small moments that would just be small things had they not have done those incredible that incredible groundwork earlier in the season. And so I mean, I think it's up there with Daredevil. I think they're top 2 in comic book shows. Show absolutely blew me out of the water. and twists and turns everywhere, and I'm just so fucking excited to talk about it. A spoiler discussion. 10 out of 10. I mean, fantastic show. One of the best.
One of the best.
Oh, get out of here, man. Watch. He's going to be like, a couple weeks ago, oh man, I mean, this flashback just did nothing for me, man. It just did nothing. And he's going to be like, that moment with Sophia's character was just so good. Yeah, man, guess what? You don't get that with the goddamn flashback episode, man. You know, it doesn't strengthen that, all right? So, get out of here, man.
Oh my god, are you still talking, bro? It's Benjamin's turn, bro.
I'm letting Ben talk.
Gosh.
Honestly, for spoiler-free thoughts, I'll keep it pretty quick. I kind of hinted at it earlier, but episode felt like a movie. It really did. Part of it due to its length, but we also just covered a lot of ground. And I'll say I'm pretty much, I think I can safely say that I'm completely satisfied with where they took everything. Like that was kind of the big question, is how does all of this tie together, and where does it leave our characters and whatnot? And it went in a much different direction in a lot of ways, but I feel like all of it was better than like I would have initially, thought it to be. So very, very happy with where things landed, and I think I'm right there with Aiden when it comes to like, this is probably my second favorite comic book show of all time, and one of the best shows that I've seen even in recent years, to be honest. Like, this is...
Let's preface, he doesn't watch a lot of TV, chat. Let's preface, okay?
Okay.
He still has not seen Better Call Saul, so let's just let that be
okay.
Look at the work I've done, man. Look at the work I've done, man. Oh, come on. You love to see it.
What do I like?
Oh my god. Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
It's true I don't watch a lot of television, but I've watched a lot of the stuff that we've talked about and covered, like Last of Us, Invincible, The Boys, that kind of thing, any of the Marvel stuff. Like, of all of those things, this is definitely a standout project in my opinion, but I have a lot more thoughts to get into when it comes to spoilers, so I don't feel like there's a point in just talking about it in general anymore. And I'd be right there with Aiden with probably a 9.5 for the show as a whole.
Yeah. Really good episode. Spoiler-free thoughts. I loved the hell out of it for so many different reasons. And I'm excited to get into them, truthfully, to pick apart Aiden's stupid thing he just said.
Bring it on, buddy. Bring it on.
But as a whole, like this show brought it, man. Like I when they first announced that they were doing these spin-off shows for this universe, I thought it was, especially knowing what James Gunn was doing and building a whole new separate universe, I thought, like, what's the point of like overly expanding this one that we know is just like, I don't know, tertiary in comparison. But I'm pleased to say that I was so incredibly wrong for thinking that way. And this brought me some powerful emotions, not like the most powerful I've ever felt while watching like some sort of media, but still like so satisfying and so gut wrenching at the same time. Like, without spoiling, like, this is what Sony, and I've said this before, I think when we've talked about the show, this is what they need to take away from this project, is that this is how you do villains. Like, you need to, like, if you're doing a villain, they need to be a villain. And so you need to make that case, and you need to continue it. You need to not shy away from it. Don't make it they don't all have to be likable. They can be likable, but still pieces of shit. So with all that said, I mean, this episode does, as Aiden mentioned, great work for multiple characters throughout, and I love great character work. Obviously, and it was a huge standout for this episode in more than one way. So, and the show as a whole is a testament to that, really. So, yeah, this is an easy 8.5 out of 10 for me.
What the fuck?
Because,
Holy shit.
Because, hey, yeah.
Shut up,
Because,
man.
because of that, god awful episode 4,
Oh
it
my
loses half a
God.
point.
I will say I posted on TikTok today and I got a comment and somebody said, "Bro looks like Victor Aguilar." I was like, "Oh no, what the fuck?" Bro, I was like literally laughing out loud. I was like, "Oh hell no." Oh jeez.
But to dive into spoilers now, the spoiler discussion from this point on, if you haven't watched, thank you so much for listening this far. We appreciate you, and we'll hopefully you come back and listen to our spoiler stuff. But to tackle what Aiden was talking about, I will proudly proclaim that I was partially incorrect, because
Okay.
I think you make a solid, very, very solid point, and I thought about this last night after watching it. That episode very much builds her character for what happens to her at the end here. Like, it very much reinforces how much she hates that place and how much everything that place did to her, and now she's being sent back to that place. And that is, I imagine she hates that. I mean, just judging by how when Julian walked in there, how she just like was, I don't know if I can say disassociating, but like was clearly not in it whatsoever. So 100% like that works in her character. I just didn't see it yet. I didn't see that part of it yet for me personally. But I still don't think the episode as a whole. I didn't think I'm not gonna take back like, oh, the episode was fantastic. I'm not gonna say that or anything. But I do think it does great work for her character, even beyond just working backwards, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to jump right to the
Jump to it, dude.
Thing.
Just jump. We could just. Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, that moment was just so fucking fantastic to me because again, it's the whole make your villain a villain, and Oz knows Sophia. He knows that she probably wants to die there because anything would be better than having to go back to Arkham. He knows that he could give her what she wants, and so when he keeps saying turn around, and she turns around and she just waits for it, and you just see the light shine. Like at that moment, I was just like,
really good.
I was like, holy fuck, he's sending her back to Arkham, dude. Like this, like, oh my god, he's just such a fucking mastermind. He's such a criminal mastermind piece of shit, and they just keep highlighting it, and they just emphasize it in the best freaking way possible. Any other show would have probably took the easy way out of just cutting her off mid-sentence whenever she's doing her spill, trying to get into his head, and she's like, oh yeah, I bet does your mom ever tell you how much she loves you? Does she ever tell you how much she's proud of you? Pop her right in the head, like, because that's what I was expecting. I was 1,000% expecting he's just gonna pop her, or he's just gonna be like, yeah, turn around and kill her, whatever. And then the fucking light shines, and the look on her face where she's like, oh my god, there's no way. Like, there's no way that this is happening. It just, all that trauma coming back on her that we saw so gruesomely in episode 4. In one single facial expression, you can tell, I mean, she told 1,000 stories. And it's all because of Oz. I mean, I just think that, like, the show just understands this character so well. It knows that Oz is too smart to give her what she wants and to give her the easy way out. Oz knows the character of Sofia Gigante and what would be her personal hell, because she gave him his personal hell just a couple of minutes before. He having his mom sit there. Oz doesn't give a fuck if you sit there and kill Vic in front of him. He doesn't care if you kill his henchman in front of him. Having his mom sit there and say, I knew all along, like, you're a piece of shit. Sophia is giving him his personal hell right there, all because of her, all from the hands of her, and obviously using Julian Rush. And so to turn it around and be like, oh, you want to fuck with me? Like, you underestimate just how, like, I'm not your fucking driver anymore, which, again, just beautifully called back to right there. Like, oh my God, like, I love this fucking show, man. Oh, look at us, just like old times. I just think it was, that's what I mean by the show just understands its characters and treats its characters so well and handles them so carefully. And so I had to say, I just love that moment so much.
I thought it was really good scene direction. I want to say, right when the light came on, just because like it was like a white flash, like a gunshot. Like I don't know, it was perfect. It was
Well,
good.
and
You can go, Benji.
I don't know. Sorry, Ben. I don't know if like this was on purpose, but like the light, like she's facing this way, and the light was like coming like this, as if a bullet was about to fly. And I was like, oh, that's genius.
It was really good.
Yeah. All that I was gonna say is retroactively looking at episode 4, which I already really loved that episode. What it did though, in context of this finale, is it makes us understand that for Sophia, going back to Arkham is worse than death.
Yeah.
And that is like, that's such a big selling point, I think, to make the finale work as well as it does and give it that ending where you're like, wow, like he is not giving her the easy way out. He's not. He's giving her a repeat of the worst thing that she's been through, and that's just how messed up of a guy that Oz is.
Yeah.
Which just ties into, like you guys kind of briefly mentioned, which is just like they handled him as a villain so well because you understand all of his motives and you sympathize with him in some regard, but then also he can just be the worst character in the show with some of his decisions like that.
Before we get into like the two big things of the show, I want to talk about some of the beginning stuff that I just loved so much. And that was like his, because I got a little bit confused when Rex was talking to her and she looked like her current day self. And as the scene kept playing out, I mean, it was just like, I was like, okay, could they not get the actor back that played his mom? Like, could they not get them back, or get her back to play out these final scenes? And then whenever she's sitting there and the red light starts moving and then she sees Sophia and Julian across the room and they're like, come on, it's fine, just you're back, and then she just snaps back into it. Oh my God, man, like just like the direction of this show and like the scene structure, just fucking phenomenal. And so I thought that was really cool, but I loved that line before the opener, knowing everything we know about his mom and how Rex was like, which I'm gonna say this and then I want to bring up another point, unless y'all have more to say about this and we can navigate it. But anyways, showing his Oz's mom and how she handled everything with Oz and knowing that Oz killed his brothers, to end the cold open with him saying, come on, Ma, dance with me. Like, I think that's just, and I could be reading too much into it, but I just thought it was beautiful, and I think it summed up her grief and her trauma so well by Oz telling his mom, dance with me. Like, take a chance and let me show you what I can give you. But obviously he means it as come dance with me on the dance floor. But to have him sit there and say, come on, Ma, dance with me, and then just boom, title card and the theme plays, I thought was just so beautiful. And at that moment, I was like, this is going to be one of the greatest finales in any comic book show that I watched. Like, they already set the stage for me. Like, if you're like paying attention to this much detail in the first minute of your finale and of your show, obviously, like, it's just a testament. It's just a testament to what they've done for the past 8 weeks. But one thing I want to say is I was on X earlier. I'll never be able to do that with a straight face. I was on Twitter and what? Let me see if I can even. I don't know. I hate having to navigate Twitter on my desktop. I can never figure out how to do it. How do I get to bookmarks, man? How do I? Oh, there we go. Somebody had or not misinterpreted. I didn't even save it. Somebody had interpreted that Oz's mom was sending Oz with Rex for Rex to kill him. And I kind of took that as like, if you want to use this, if you want to use him for what he's good at, basically, um, let us take him in and kind of let him be a shield for you, or let us put him to use, which I guess now doesn't make too much sense to me, but I definitely didn't see that as Oz's mom sending him to Rex to die. And so I was just
I
wondering how
would
y'all are gonna.
say I think that was absolutely the case.
Really?
Personally, with how I
I
interpreted
want
it,
you to
I
explain. I
think.
want you to like show me the light, basically.
Well, so what was said was that first part, which is like, he can be put to use, but
Yeah.
then immediately after is when I think he says something along the lines of, or you could turn the other way. And basically like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry, look the other way and pretend like you don't know what's happening. And when she kind of says like, you could do that for me. And I would further that by saying that at least the way it's portrayed is that when Oz talks to his mother in the club about how much he cares about her, everything he's going to do for her, that's when she has a change of heart and doesn't let him go with them to be killed. And that changes the course of, I guess, Oz's history, his life in that moment. So
So
that's how I interpreted it, but I
yeah.
had no question that the implication was that we will take him, we will deal with him, and yes, kill him.
Okay. See, I didn't pick up on that. But one thing I will say to combat that was, which this is just what I had saw today as I was scrolling, is that people actually think that that was the first time Oz talked himself out of dying or getting killed. Is that he goes with Rex, and obviously we don't see any of that play out, so we don't know. It's just up to interpretation. But he goes with Rex, or seemingly is gonna go with Rex after they leave the theater. And as we know, Oz didn't die that night when Rex said that he would take care of it. And so a lot of people are like, is this the first instance of Oz? Like, did it start right here when he was a kid? This young and this little, hanging out with these crime bosses, where he was able to talk himself out of a life or death situation. And so I thought that way of looking at it was really cool. But I also think his mom having to change a heart and seeing the potential in Oz, despite never telling him that, is also a fantastic way to look at it.
See. I didn't even take it as her like necessarily having a change of heart. Like she still very much hates him for what he did. She saw it as like an opportunity. Like if this kid is telling the truth and can provide for her, then she might as well use that. Might as well keep him around for that, because she does not like him. Like
Which
she's puts up with him, I guess is
I
what
wouldn't. Then change of heart wasn't what I was looking for, but she changed her mind to sending him off and getting him killed.
Yeah,
which would make sense
yeah.
because Sophia looks at Oz the same way the first half of the season. I don't trust this dude. I don't like this dude, but he's useful and I could keep him around and he could benefit me.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, he flips it on everybody's head every single time. But I thought that opening scene was awesome. I love the interrogation scene with Sophia giving him his very own hell. At the end of this, I want to go through some of these tweets that I've been liking today from people talking about the finale. So just I'll remind you all after we're done talking about it. But yeah, I think that opening scene was absolutely phenomenal.
I feel like it's time to.
Well, one thing, the twist of Zal working with Oz and Vic. Whoa, dude. I mean,
with of Link, yeah.
yeah, Link,
working with him.
the Zhao family, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not Zhao. Not Zhao.
not Zhao. No.
I actually, and I did like that angle as well. That like all these lower henchmen people, or the people like right under the top people in each organization, were tired of taking the shit and wanted to be the shit.
Yeah.
And so
Crazy.
rising up, I guess, or whatever. But also, I don't remember my exact point last week about like why the families didn't just rise up and take Oz's stuff for themselves, you know? And it's kind of like it makes me think back to that point that I had. I was like, oh, okay, but so I guess you guys are doing it here, but you didn't want to do it to Oz before. But I mean, it doesn't matter because I don't remember my exact point, and I'm not actually like taking it as a shot against this episode or the show at all. But
all right, take us into the man of the hour.
oh, brother, that I actually thought he was gonna be fine, man. I thought he was gonna be fine. I was like, dude, literally when they were sitting down talking at the beginning of the conversation, I was like, dude, are we gonna see Vic in the Batman Part 2? Okay, Vic's gonna have a little spot. Like, oh, he's gonna be standing next to Penguin when Batman comes to visit or something. And then as soon as Oz said, I can't take you with me. I can't take you with me on this one, kid. I'm like, no, bruh.
Dude,
what do you mean,
see,
dog?
for me, they're talking, and he's like, Vic's like, I miss them too. I miss my family a lot sometimes, and like trying to relate to Oz talking about his mom. There's a moment where Oz sits there and he goes, "Fuck," and I was like, my heart. That's when my heart dropped, and I was like, and I literally put my hand on my head, and I was like, no. And then he keeps talking a little bit, and he's like, "Oh man, you seen me at my weakest, everything with my mom back there." And I was like, "No, no, no!" And I fucking did it. This fucking scumbag piece of shit. But what did I tell you when we got to the finale? If Oz killed Vic because of, and I said as long as they make the reason like justifiable or like make it make sense. If he killed Vic and we're sitting here talking about you, it will stick with you for weeks and it will only strengthen the episode. It just had to happen.
And it makes me want to see Oz fucking suffer, brother. It makes me want to see Oz get his ass whooped by Brucey Boy next time we see him on screen.
It
together.
just, which
Oh
is
my
also
God.
really cool how much work it does for Batman. Like, obviously we already love Batman. We're already on Batman's side. We already want to see him take down the Penguin. But it's like now we're like fuck. No, I'll save it for later. But it's just like it just strengthens the Batman as a character. Because when I see them in part 2, I'm gonna be like, kick his fucking ass, Bruce. Come on, kick his ass.
Yeah, what a moment. I will say, while I didn't see it coming, they had told us very clearly that by the end of the show, and specifically in the finale, that you were going to hate Oz. And literally, as the dialogue is happening at the very start, where they're talking, it is one of the most wholesome parts of the entire show. Their conversation that they're having with one another, and I'm literally sitting there thinking, I like these characters, and I am rooting for them. And yeah, they're bad people, but it almost feels like they're two bad people who overcame an even worse evil person in Sophia. So it feels like a triumphant, like you should root for them. They're the underdogs. They're, in a way, the quote-unquote good guys of the story. Literally, that is what is going through my mind. Like, I'm rooting for these characters. Like, I like them. I like this dynamic. And then all of a sudden,
dude,
just out of left field, but that, I mean, that's what was mentioned earlier with, like, they knew what they were doing so incredibly well with this character, just so phenomenally well. And so the fact that you can sympathize and empathize with them, you understand all of the motivation, and their story has been so well set up so that when this moment happens, not only are you like devastated that it even happened in the first place, Like it's a sad moment and it's a brutal moment within the story. But also within that, even though you were rooting for these guys, you're still like, dang, it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I can see Oz doing this,
Yeah.
even though you were holding on to that little shred of hope that he had some good in him. And the show's like, no, 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 don't hold on to that. It's not there. And that's just, they struck that balance, I think, just perfectly with how much you care about the character and how much you root for him, and then making sure that the show keeps you in check and makes you understand what you're actually dealing with. So I just think, like, as devastating as it is, it's kind of a weirdly, like, it's a perfect moment for what they were going for.
And we kind of fall victim to what a lot of people in the show fell victim to, trusting Oz and holding on to that little piece of hope that Oz maybe this time around is different, and maybe this time around he fucking took his money, man, and he left it. He threw his ID in the like. That is some cold shit, dude. Like $20. 20 fucking bucks that he took just for the love of the fucking game, bro. For the love of the game. And it's so sad that Vic has no family. They all died, and now he has no identity. He has no identity because he threw his ID away. And it just, again, it's back to the finale, just heightening other moments in the show. He could have left, and we should have known at that moment. What is he gonna do, bro? Leave a perfect life with this girl that he met, so that what, he could succeed with Oz and make it to the top and have a bunch of money with Oz standing next to Oz. I should have known. I should have saw it coming, and I wanted to believe that maybe there was a universe where it didn't have to end up like being this way. But again, I just think Oz looking at family as being weak. Again, with like his brother, with his brothers, just like, I'm sure he loves them. I mean, there's literal brothers, but again, he did what he had to do for his mom, and again, he loves Vic and he's there with Vic and couldn't have done it without him, but it makes him weak. And family has made him weak throughout the entire show. His mom made him weak because that gave Sophia an edge to get a leg up on him. And he can't kill his mom. I mean, he loves his mom, but he sees that that's a problem for him. And the only other family he has there is Vic. And he sees Vic as making him weak. It worked out this time, but who's to say it'll work out again? And who's to say Vic will have anything of importance to add when it comes to Batman or the Zhao family? And so he just did what he has to do. And I don't know. I think that made the flashback in episode 8 mean a whole lot more. Just how Oz views these people around him, ultimately leading to him just mindlessly killing Vic. It's crazy.
Oz is just crazy. I mean, like,
dude, yeah, the moment you said, sorry, shut up. Well, that moment you said, I'm sorry. The moment you said when he took the money, man, oh my God, bro. I was already, like, it was a mixture of, like, anger and sadness, but it was just pure hate, bro. Pure hate when he picked up the wallet and took the money. Oh my God. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
I mean, I was kind of pivoting to just some different aspects of the episode, but like we've talked about how Penguin, one of his big, I guess, one of his positive attributes and one of his skills is his ability to lie his way out of things and evade situations and just get out of certain situations. But like, also a little bit underrated is also just how much of a kind of a beast he is. Like when he's duct taped to a chair and he breaks out of the duct tape, stabs a guy with a tape with a leg of a chair, and he's carrying his ma while shooting and walking on his bum leg after he got stabbed. Like he's got some serious willpower, which is just I don't know, like that scene, I was just like, you got to give the guy some credit. Like he goes all out no matter
Yeah.
what.
Seriously. I mean, this dude is a literal, like, he could be a villain. No, he is a super villain now. Like, he has superhuman abilities. Like, holy shit, we see the thumbnail. He got that Green Lantern, Purple Lantern ring on in there. I do want to say another moment that just highlighted how twisted he is whenever he takes his mom captive in her vegetative state, and he has her up in the penthouse, and he looks at her, he's trying to get through to her, and she cries. And instead of coming to reality and being like, oh, she's probably crying because she hates this life and she is stuck as a prison here, or she's stuck in her own prison here under your control. Instead of acknowledging that, he says, I know, Ma, it's everything you wanted. Like, I did this for you. I am the reason that you're crying tears of joy right now. Like, fuck you, dude. You suck. You suck so bad, bro. You have your mom held captive and she's crying because of it. And you take that as her being proud of you? Like, oh, you suck so bad, man. Like, he's a twisted piece of shit. And Ben, you said something last week. I was listening to the episode. And I was listening to our last week's episode today. And I just thought it was so funny because you were like, yeah, like we were talking about Sal dying and Oz not getting the satisfaction from it. And us feeling that feeling that lack of satisfaction. Like, oh, man. And we're like, oh, we feel like Oz in that moment. And you were like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm excited for the finale because I feel like, if the show does what a lot of other shows do, we'll see Oz climb to the top. And I'm sure that satisfaction that he feels will be felt with fans as well. We'll share that satisfaction with him. And I was like, oh, were we dead wrong? Were we dead fucking wrong?
I do feel like we had that when he outsmarted Sophia in that moment. His little smug smirk was just perfect. And you could tell Sophia, like the actress who plays her, which I'm blanking on her name, but
Kristen Milioti.
Her eyes just portrayed. She's just like, I know what's about to happen, which is So I feel like, up until the conversation with Vic, really, like, it is this satisfactory, triumphant, like, things are going great. We love what we've come to, and this is a great conclusion that we are happy with. And then the show has 30 minutes left. and
we gave him too much
and
credit.
even though it takes quite a significant departure and quite a big turn, it still all feels justified, and that's such a huge compliment to the show.
Yeah. But you know what? She has backup. She has strings. She has attachments. She has connections. And we got a fucking Selena Kyle name drop, man. Oh, are you kidding me? Selena Kyle name drop. Absolutely sick. I think that's a cool place to leave her, though. Like, we knew that she was going to be in the Batman Part 2, which a part of me, like, started contemplating. I was like, dude, were these rumors, like, fake? Was this, like, not credible news whenever Oz had the gun to her head? I was like, is there a way that he literally just kills her right now? And then the lights turned on. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, but anyways, I think that's a cool place to leave her off for the Batman Part 2. And, we did see those reports that she would have a big role. I think this kind of adds some more credibility to that. And so, yeah, I think that's a really interesting spot to leave her for the Batman Part 2, or for if they do a Penguin Season 2, like they are rumoring right now. I think that'd be super sad. I think that's a cool place to leave her. She's in contact with her half-sister. I think that's awesome. And it gave her a little bit of hope. I will say that.
Yeah. Do you guys have any specific theories as to why the bat signal lit up? Because I have a theory. So I'm curious if you guys thought about that at all.
I've seen people saying that it could be the road blowing up and that he might be only operating at night right now. And so that was like his sign to go like investigate, or like, hey, we need you, and like, I know you only operate at night, because I think that happened fairly early in the morning, and then like on all the events we see leading up to that, it's like, I think the first scene in nighttime is them going to meet Link, and then obviously from there we get everything that happened. Well, you know what? Maybe not, because how does he have that penthouse with his mom? That wouldn't have happened immediately. So I guess that takes that theory out of the way. But again, that wasn't my theory. That was something I saw on Twitter, so I'm not taking responsibility for that. Wasn't me. That wasn't me. I don't. That was my only guess, and I guess I just debunked it now. So I don't think it was for Oz specifically. I'll say that. I don't think it was for Oz and his actions. Maybe like, the road being blown up and him being tied to that, but I don't think what happens in the crime world and between crime families really partake, like, is Batman's like business. But maybe after the events of Batman Part 1, it could be his business now. So I don't know. I'm interested to hear your theory, though, if Charlie doesn't have one. Which, let's be honest, he probably doesn't.
That's interesting. Oh, okay.
He was probably on TikTok,
yeah.
couldn't handle the length of the episode or something.
Talk to is what you were looking for.
Nah, he really got exposed. I'm dead.
Oh, I don't even watch YouTube Shorts, so like, they just throw stuff at a wall trying to get me to watch it. But
yeah.
No, I don't really. I mean, nothing seems like big enough. Not that there needs to be a huge thing for them to call him. Like, they called him. I mean, I guess it was the murder of the mayor, so that is kind of a huge thing. But no, I don't know. Yeah, because the bombs would have been my thing too. But that's a good point about the penthouse and how he got his mom moved up there. So do enlighten me, Benjamin.
A time jump. I would say my running theory was that it was just like a regular, like, all right, some crime has happened. We need the Batman, and it just happened to be coincidence, and it happened at the same time as, like, the finale, obviously, to give us a cool teaser, like, hey, the Batman's still around. Don't worry. Like, this, you left off on a bad feeling. You feel shitty about everything, but the Batman is still here. But take us away.
I mean, with everything you guys have said it now, my theory probably seems a little silly, maybe a little dumb, but my thought at least was because of, well, they very specifically have said that when teasing the Batman Part 2 recently, they said, we can't wait for you to continue watching this crime saga in the Batman Part 2. So I think the criminal underworld plays a big part in the overall story and narrative, which has been very clear with the two projects that we've gotten so far. So my thoughts more specifically had to do with all of the like mob bosses that were being killed off, and all of their like apprentices rising to power and taking over the business and whatnot. Like, I don't know, in a weird way, all of that feels like it would cause more commotion and more noise than anything that we saw throughout this series. Like Salvatore Maroni dying and alliances changing and new product on the street. All of that, like, if you're from a bird's eye view looking at it, is not like crazy stuff happening. But then I think the shift that happens at the end of the series with kind of, the statement that Penguin made and all of these other apprentices of the family leaders and different alliances and whatnot, by, killing all of these characters off and whatnot, that, like, Like people have said that, you know, at some point this becomes severe enough that the Batman would be signaled or the Batman would show up. And I would say that like it hit a point where that makes sense. So I don't, that's not necessarily like a huge like, oh, crazy theory or anything, but still just like I think it makes sense. I think we got to the point where like things are crazy enough for Batman to step in, which I wouldn't have necessarily bought earlier in the show, at least for some things.
No, I think that makes a ton of sense. Everything we've seen in the show, like think about where we started with like Oz killing those people, and like threatening to kill Vic, and then like disposing of bodies and stuff. Like I'm gonna be honest, after seeing Gotham this season, I think that's light work for Batman. I don't think Batman needs to be signaled for that, which is horrifying for people that live in Gotham to hear. But now to the point it's gotten now where literal car bombs are blowing up in the sewer line where he operates. He operates in that subway system, not sewer line. He operates in that subway system. For car bombs to be going off in there, people to be like tons of bodies to be found, a mayor to make a statement about it, or a mayor elect nominee. Well, I don't know. Was he the mayor? I think he was because he had that spot in the chair, and Oz was feeding him information.
I thought
No,
he
no.
the councilman.
The council, because the mayor is
that woman
the
is the mayor,
lady at the end. Yeah. Because they make a point. I saw someone say that she was out of her cast from the Batman movie, the Batman Part 1, and that something about her getting a bat suit. And so like I tried to look up her name because I was like, oh, is she like I think her name was Bella Real.
Real, yeah.
Bella Real Comics. I mean, I don't know. I don't see her necessarily in a bat suit, so I don't know why people would be like, oh, is she gonna get a bat suit? That seems kind of stupid. Anyways, for there to be statements being made on it, for Sophia to be getting put back in Arkham, for car bombs to be going off, for henchmen to be laying dead, like 20 plus bodies everywhere, I do think that it's finally gotten to a point to where it's like, all right, like we just got over the flood. A lot of the crime world, like Falcone's dead. A lot of the crime world is like wanting to strike while the iron's hot. And so I could see them striking, all this shit playing out to where it's like, all right, things are out of hand. We got to get Batman involved. So I think that's very plausible. Either that or it's literally just like, hey, we turned the signal on and it's just a coincidence. It matches up with the finale and here's a cool teaser. You know, it's literally just there as a teaser.
One more thing I wanted to add real quick. I also think that since Matt Reeves has been clearly very involved with this story, I think what could easily happen at the start of, say, the Batman Part 2 is also what we saw like at the start of this show, where they clearly, and without needing to go into too many details, they bridge the gap with where we were to where we're at. They did that very well to set up the Penguin, and connected it where it needed to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if they already know ahead of time, like, here's where the Batman was, here's the justification, and here's how we're going to then continue it into the next part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to personally where Penguin goes from here. Now that he's at the top, you know, how this extends into the Batman Part 2. Interestingly enough, also he mentioned to Colin Farrell today that he has about 5 or 6 scenes in the Batman Part 2, and he is also signed on for the Batman Part 3. So, yeah, 5 to 6 scenes. I mean, that could be a multitude of things. I'm sure that could also be expanded. It's very early in the process. They haven't even started filming yet. So, but you know, I also don't think that he needs as much of a focus after getting such a strong focus in the first movie and getting his own TV show. But I would still love to see more Oz, so that way I can see what kind of hijinks he gets. A gun pointed at his head. Yes, let's do it. Yeah, hit him on it. Hit him with it too. But that has been.
I wanna go through these tweets.
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I think they're just too funny not to. So
Lord Aiden over here. Classic.
thought this one was funny. They said me after seeing
What?
Oz. Me after seeing Oz, and I'll have to explain it because my stream. I realize when I stream, it doesn't. It pauses it on my Discord. So if you're watching on video, I apologize. I'll just. Oh well.
Brother has liked 16,000 things. That is crazy, bruh.
What? Where do you see that?
I can't lie. At the
Oh,
top, right?
I've had
under
this.
your
I've had this
name.
Twitter for the past like 10 years.
Okay, that's crazy.
This
It's
one,
a lot, to be fair.
actually, I can. Well, and I'm always on Twitter, so. This one it says, or I'll explain it for audio listeners. Me after seeing Oz die horrifically in the Batman Part 2, and it's a video of a man. It's a video of a man at a funeral, just like picking off of the aluminum plates.
Forgetting who died.
It says, "Funeral food be so good, I be forgetting who the fuck died." And it says, "Me after seeing Oz die horrifically." This one, it says, "It's some potato on a phone peeking around a corner." Snitching, and he says letting Batman know where he can find Oz. And then the infamous Jake Gyllenhaal flexing the gun and weapons in front of the camera, and it says, "Tell me where Oz is. I'll do what Batman can't."
That movie is End of Watch, by the way. Good movie.
End of Watch. It's phenomenal. I think it's great. I mean that scene at the end is just hard hitting stuff. And this is just like going. I have to get to the other stuff. Just news, whatever. Missing poster. This one. It's a screenshot of a YouTube video, and it's a homeless man calling another homeless man a broke ass, and it says Sophia and Oz calling each other crazy.
When Oz says you're going to hell, sweetheart, I'm like, bro, what are you talking
No, so are
about?
you. I thought it was great though when she says, "I'll save you a seat." This one, oh my god, you got a hater out of me. What I do to you gonna make Batman look like a fucking Boy Scout when we go hit Bout Vic on God. Oh my god, it's just I think that was it. Oh my god, just funny stuff. I love all the memes that have come out of this episode, and there's tons more. I was seeing tons all day of people just. I think the funniest one is I'm gonna do what Batman can't. Oh, it's crazy work, but yeah, that's about all I had.
Well, unfortunately, that brings an end to our coverage.
Oh, sorry, there's one more.
The
It says the Batman Part 2 should just open with a 30-minute scene of him beating up the Penguin. A 30-minute scene. Oh my god. All right, that's it for real now.
That, yes, unfortunately brings our coverage of the Penguin to a close. It's a bummer. Fantastic show. We're going to miss it. And hopefully season 2 comes along. For the weeks going forward, I think we're going to try some new things out. Maybe talk about a few new films coming out. We're definitely going to cover like Gladiator 2 and that kind of stuff. Potentially Red 1.
No, hell no.
If Aiden and
I'm not going
to grace give that film the presence. What? The grace of our presence? Shut up, Charlie. That's crazy.
You said it, not me.
But still lots of cool stuff to look forward to with the podcast moving forward. 2025 is going to be a big year, of course, and we got lots to talk about. In between then, before then, all of the above. Like we also mentioned, probably the Dune Prophecy show. We're big fans of Dune, and I was gonna say that I hope that that doesn't ruin Dune for us, but I don't think anything can ruin Dune 2 for me. That thing is fantastic. But thank you all so much for watching, listening, however you're consuming this. We appreciate you so very much. Again, I want to remind you, you can leave us a comment on YouTube or on Spotify or any other podcast listening platform, I believe, and we will read it aloud here on the pod at the beginning of the episode. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us why you think the penguin was ass, and we'll laugh at you. Just kidding. We'd never do that. I totally would. But
I will.
let's. I'm sorry. Do you want to go? Okay.
Man, thumbnail maker, shut up.
I knew he was gonna say that. I was literally about to. I was about to say, "Oh yeah, thumbnail maker." Okay. Seriously, if you're on YouTube, give us a like. We'd super appreciate it. Drop the subscribe button. Drop the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We'd super appreciate it. It would help us out a lot. And we've been grinding. We're out here for, what did we say, 3 months now doing this, over 3 months, 3.5 months. So, and we are not stopping. Trust that. So thank you guys so much. Seriously, we appreciate it. We hope you have a great morning, day, afternoon, night, whatever time you're listening or watching this. But until next time, adios.
Peace.
Sayonara.